That pressure to come now.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
I did get you.
What's that pressure?
Now it. Yes.
We will call about some small investigation and information that is very concerned now. We like to move on to the
Oh, now I did get you. I said I did get you.
I'm not on the worry.
That means I network. Yes.
Now, I got any personal problem with the soldier there.
Which kind of problem? Which kind of problem and which soldier there?
When they talk about the Amba soldier there, we don't enjoy information, but how we would work at that Amba. I say Amba will never worry any member of the family.
Yeah, don't worry plenty.
I'm worried on who in which way.
They don't worry plenty. You don't get to know who they worry on. They don't worry plenty.
You don't worry plenty?
Yes.
Now, if you in a room, we work at the 50 Amba, we won't know about one.
Now we know no. Now bad one.
Okay, now we will know.
Yes.
No bother. We'll beat you now.
Problem no there no car.
No bother. My boy,
Problem no there.
Lesson number one, my country people, Dr. Waiting. Listen, whether or not you accept my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. This is an enemy that is strong. So, we got to be technical to what they do here. We thank my country people for this wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
I want to record this short video for una people the way when I want for the listen to Eric Tataw indictment where they don't indict you for America today. Where when I want for listen and whether you did wash, you did cook, or you did drive, this version it will make them easier for you for digest this information. This one are possibly one of the bestest days for our black legism. I was not read the news, it talks say Maryland man indicted for conspiring to provide material support to armed separatist fighters to murder, kidnap, and maim individuals in Cameroon, and for making threats. So, Gary Master Eric Tataw, he go finally find a day in court. As na this one na their official website today, Friday, April the 25th, 2025, for immediate release. My country people them. So, I go straight to reading the document for now. It talks say, Eric Tataw, he be raise funds for supply AK-47s to separatist groups. The talk say, a federal grand jury in Baltimore returned an indictment yesterday charging wait 1 second. So they say charging a Cameroonian national, Eric Tataw, also known as the Gary Master, also known as the Gary Master. He's 38 years old, of Gettysburg, Maryland, with conspiring to provide material support to armed separatist militias in Cameroon and threatening violence against Cameroonian civilians. He surrendered and will make his initial court appearance before U.S. Magistrate George Mark Colson today. The talk say, according to court documents, multiple armed and violent secessionist groups in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon are fighting to form a new country called Amba. The armed separatist militia sought to achieve secession by not only attacking the Cameroonian military, but also intentionally attacking the civilian population in Cameroon in an attempt to force the Cameroonian government into allowing these regions to secede. These separatist fighters are frequently referred to as Amba boys. Of course, they don't do their research. They go on for talk say the defendant, when Eric Tataw, is alleged to have ordered horrific acts of violence, including severing limbs against Cameroonian civilians in support of a violent secessionist movement said Matthew R. Galetti, head of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. The man continued for talk, said, this indictment represents the Justice Department's commitment to hold accountable human rights violators who direct brutal political violence and fundraise for armed militias from the comfort of the United States. So this one, now also Chris Anu, Sako Ekome, and all the other Amba terrorists where they in the United States, where they raise money for support ambassador terrorism for Cameroon. This one, it not go end with Eric Tataw, my contributor. So it continue for talk say, the Justice Department will not tolerate those who help murder, maim, and kidnap, said Sue J. Bai, head of the Justice Department's National Security Division. We will continue to hold accountable those who aim to turn American soil into a staging ground for political violence abroad. They be think say staying in America. America, they talk the land of the free. I get the right for bear arms. I get the right for bear arms. Tapang Ivo, you're there to the camp. Chris Anu, Sako Ekome. Anyways, they continue the talk say, Eric Tataw and his co-conspirators, they say co-conspirators, means one. It means that other people the day way they go arrest them as a result of this indictment. Remember, Tamufo St. Michael, it no go down in one. Now you be the first one with the arrest them for 2019, and then you co-conspirators them end up for being Mangang. You get Walters Muma, Alangbi Weti, and then you get Eric Fru and Che, and the other ones them end up for entrap and ensnare. Wait, it's not ensnare. There's a word that I'm looking for. Basically, it end up for catch 10 of them inside that net. They go prison. They prison as I speak. 10 of them from that one arrest. So, Eric Tataw, it no go down you one. Make una remember that one. As they don't read the talk, they only give una hints. You co-conspirators, they masterminded and financially supported a vicious scheme to overthrow a foreign government. They resorted to an unthinkable level of violence while instilling fear in innocent victims to advance their political agenda, said a U.S. attorney, Kelly O. Hayes, for the District of Maryland. The man continued for talk say, we, along with our law enforcement partners, are committed to relentlessly pursue anyone who attempts to inflict mayhem on others. Eric Tataw and his co-conspirators demonstrated a total disregard for human life, so now they must pay the price. It continued for talk say, as alleged in the indictment, Eric Tataw was a citizen of Cameroon living in Maryland and was a member of the Cameroonian diaspora with a large social media following. Beginning in April 2018, Tataw and others sought to raise funds for the Amba Boys to finance violent attacks in Cameroon. Eric Tataw also allegedly called for the murder, kidnapping, and the maiming of civilians and the destruction of public, educational, and cultural property in Cameroon. Eric Tataw and his co-conspirators allegedly directed the maiming of Cameroonian civilians by severing their limbs. Now, Gary processed that. A practice that Eric Tataw called Garying. They actually write up. Eric Tataw, you go explain the meaning of Gary Master. He said Eric Tataw allegedly used the phrase small Gary to refer to removing fingers or other small appendages, and the phrase large Gary to refer to removing large limbs or killing the person. Additionally, Eric Tataw allegedly referred to himself as the Gary Master or Master of Mutilation. Fantastic. So, Eric Tataw and his co-conspirators allegedly targeted those believed to be working for or collaborating with the government, including municipal office officials, traditional chiefs, and employees of the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, a public company that grew, processed, and sold bananas, palm oil, and rubber. As alleged, Eric Tataw personally wrote hundreds of social media posts on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter calling for attacks against Cameroonian civilians, seeking to raise funds to arm Amba Boys, and threatening those he viewed as cooperating with the government of Cameroon. Those social media posts were regularly viewed by tens of thousands of people, including Amba Boys and their leaders, and were often further disseminated by third parties allegedly acting as Eric Tataw's direction allegedly acting at Eric Tataw's direction or encouragement. Whenever Eric Tataw come for Facebook, it do live broadcast, it talk say, una share. So now what did I talk now? Incitement that. So even so other person where it take that message, is send out for Amba Boy, it do under the direction of Eric Tataw, where it encourage them. They continue for talk say, Eric Tataw is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to provide material support and 4 counts of interstate communication of a threat to harm. If convicted, he faces a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison on the material support count alone and another 5 years in prison on each count of communication of a threat to harm. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. So, Mr. Matthew Galote, head of the Justice Department's Criminal Division, and Sue Bai, head of the Justice Department's National Security Division, and the U.S. Attorney Kelly O'Hayes for the District of Maryland, and the Special Agent in charge, when Michael McCarthy of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security Investigations, ICE HSI Maryland, made the announcement. So the talk say the HSI and the U.S. Department of State's Diplomatic Security Service, with assistance from the FBI, are investigating the case. Many more people, they will go down. So the trial attorney, Chelsea Skinner, of the Criminal Division's Human Rights and Special Prosecutions Section, Assistant U.S. Attorney, and Joseph Wiener for the District of Maryland, and trial attorneys Michael blah 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 are prosecuting the case with assistance from the Justice Department's Office for Internal Affairs. Like they talk, the indictment is an allegation. They go prove all of this now in the court of law. April the 25th, 2025. Now today, they bring this indictment as I tell you now United States of America, the Office of Public Affairs, U.S. Department of Justice, they put them on their official website. Now in this, Eric Tataw, Edigongata, one way, not my trip to Boya anymore. Now my trip to Ngata, all the mangang already did, and the rest of them, they go go for day. This day is fantastic, my contributor. It be even better than the day where they will catch Ayabacho Lucas looking for Norway. MKPD is a force to reckon with, my people them. Thank you now, all man, we don't watch, listen. Make sure say you also share this message, make it go far and wide. I did so now for road. I know day for my house for corner laptop where I for fit start broadcast for now evidence of Eric Tataw, a terrorist atrocities them. So when I bear with me, as soon as I reach for house, I go broadcast all of that information for una. But now, make una just take this small news we are bringing for una. When I take and mix them inside Gary, Kowata Gary, push una no need for push sugar because this information now sugar. And then when I drink una Kowata Gary master has to now face the consequences of the actions them, and we will produce the receipts. My country people them. Time don't reach for accountability.
Cameroon historians, especially Cameroonians, have given excessive weight to the Fumban Conference, rightly or wrongly, to the extent that most Cameroonians don't even know about the Yaoundé and tripartite talks of 2nd August to 7th August 1961. The Yaoundé tripartite talks, that meeting was very, very, very important because it was at that meeting that the proposals from Fumban, because I've said it until at times I think I'm just wasting my time. No constitution came out from Fumban. I want to make that very clear. No constitution came out from Fumban. What came out from Fumban were constitutional proposals. And those proposals were put in a constitutional form at the Yaoundé tripartite talks. And it was at the Yaoundé tripartite talks that the delegations agreed. The delegations agreed that the plebiscite results and the rest after the April 21, 1961, UN Resolution 1608. At the Yaoundé tripartite talks, they agreed that an exchange of notes will solve the problem. And an exchange of notes was eventually made in September 1961. So that settled the question. And the UK, on behalf of Southern Cameroon, signed the Union Treaty, deposited a copy, because Southern Cameroon was not qualified, was not eligible to participate in the Union Treaty. The Union Treaty was reserved for UN members, and Southern Cameroon was not a member of the United Nations. So the plebiscite following UN Resolution 1608 and what came after, everything was settled through an exchange of notes. And in February 1962, the administering authority, that is the United Kingdom, wrote to the UN that it had terminated the assignment given to her. So that chapter was closed. So I was dumbfounded when in June 1995, the delegation of prominent Anglophone politicians went to the UN, claiming that they went there to have the decolonization file of former Southern Cameroon reopened, which was a scam. And they came with a flag, and at the Mongo Bridge, they unfolded the flag, raised it up, telling Anglophones that this is evidence that the United Nations will revisit the Anglophone call for independence. And fortunately, and I give credit to late Barrister Ekotang, and I give credit to Dr. Simon Monzo, who were members of that delegation. Before Elat Ekotang died, he made it very clear that that flag was not given to them by the UN. The flag was bought in the UN shop.
But you are thanking them, and not me who caused that information to come.
Well,
it's on this platform that Dr. Simon Munzu actually said that that flag was bought, and to authenticate what he said, because I know by Saikuntan Elat led that delegation, I moved over to his residence in Boya, and I told him that this is what Dr. Simon Munzu said. He said yes, and the flag is in his house. So I caused both of them too.
So that makes me feel fine that at least there are some Cameroonians, some Anglophones, who have realized that Cameroonians should not be emotional when discussing the history of Cameroon. So thank you for getting Dr. Monzo and also later Elat Ekotang to affirm, to confirm that in actual fact the flag was not given by the UN. Because when I said it much earlier, before you interviewed them and they confirmed it, I was accused of distorting the history of Cameroon.
Lesson number one, Makonjipo, Dr. Weti. Listen, whether or not you accept Makonjipo is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong. So, Ambazonians will thank Makonji people for the wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
Actions then we individual don't commit them with the before of us stand for this struggle. It will end overcome again be a big issue for all of us for this struggle. And we cannot deny that. We cannot separate ourselves from that. We cannot separate ourselves from those things. Now the problem that we did it, because you see when people then they take that one bravado action, then they come outside, they spill thing, then they talk thing, and some people then they stand by, they talk say, oh yes, you don't talk correct, don't do so. At the end of the day, ask yourself, say that individual alone in misaction or in misinterpretation for which we in it and we talk. just that misinterpretation alone for what he thinks that he's saying, that he thinks that he's pleasing some people. At the end of the day, one will go somewhere and that will be brought on the table like something that is a general issue to all of us. We will start crying for foul. Say, oh, na conspiracy theory. Oh, na this, na that. But of course, we not be stupid enough to check say, what happen for that way. In many points, inside the situation, it go happen. That's why up to this moment, so we get one thing we talk for each other. Say we enter for inside room, all of us, so that action they go be considered like that action for Ambazonia. It will be considered like saying as an individual. Don't go out there, go make this declaration them, and then at the end of it, come hunt all of us. Yes, and then we will find it now difficult to go out there now, go to defend that individual because of which we don't do them. It is kind of, you see, it's those things. So we will not even play with this thing that we talk to, because they are serious things. These things are very, very serious. Yes. Are you?
For listen, I'm not to defend Eric. I just state the facts as it is. Okay, Eric will defend himself anytime, anywhere. Okay, and he be capable of anything he meets, he will be equal to it. Okay. Now we talk about taxes. Taxes are the same kind of situation in every country. Like here, most of the members for the Conservative Party are rich people. Most of them get offshore accounts. Why they get offshore accounts? Offshore accounts are these, like you go to Channel Islands, they go for the Bahamas, all those kind of places where you set up a company offshore for tax purposes, because your income waiting for those places, you tax them. So they pay very small amount of tax. People do that one. Okay? They stretch the law right to the limits of it. Okay, lots of people. So not be only people come out Cameroon. So not run down where people them. So they want to come out Cameroon, it goes to Maryland, there for inside United States. And why they talk pidgin, that we are own language, that we are own language. Hybrid English or whatever you want to call them. Now we are own language that we express yourself better with that language. The one I use our talk to. Yes, now we're language. And if people they stay for that kind of closer community, then you get advantage as well. If you just come to a place, you not get means. That kind of community is in the help. They help lots of poor people. Because if you easily find a place, if you help them, or if you buy things the way they need, cheap. This kind of thing. So, if you run down the place like that, say, whoa, these people, they say get Cameroon mentality. Cameroon mentality, they obey the US law, they act according to, and not only then the Dutch, the taxes, or even the rich people, they say they avoid tax. Lots of rich people. And I tell you, here for the Conservative Party, a lot of them, they get offshore accounts. Most of the rich people, they're like, even this Louis guy, Trevor here, Formula One Trevor, he put a residence one of these offshore islands. He said, for now tax purposes, he said, you can just visit. Even though they stay most of the time. But most of them put a permanent address offshore, so they will pay less tax or no tax at all. So lots of people they do that kind of thing. Nobody need go declare all their income. You can see some footballer the way the charge for Europe or other places. They pay heavy fines because nobody don't want to pay plenty tax. So not be only people from Cameroon. If they run into problems, because say probably they probably not get a means to pay the accountants and things like this, and they probably don't want to do the tax themselves. So anyway, Eric, for summarize, I'll say Eric be capable of dealing with the problems. I never asked ambassadors for help in any shape or form. I will say nobody knows separate ambassador from Eric. Eric don't separate himself in any step ambassador activities. You never see out here if they ask me for contribute money for me parent or things like this, or you never see it use up ambassador and social media space. So anybody want free ambassador, you know, they do that free from Eric influence or anything like that. We don't say yes, Eric be well, Africans in general be extroverts because you know they like for talk about that world, they like for show off, they like for wear good suits, they like for polish their shoes and these kind of things. You know, as opposed to Europeans, they be and Westerners, they be introverts. So you could see that worst now for their houses, the things that they get inside the house and things like this. So Eric be more of the extreme end of extroverts. Because like to talk about you know his achievements. A person start from humble beginnings, he sell puff, do it, you know, and he walk away. He come from a society where he get opportunity for borrow money and invest them, and you see the outcome, and he do them. So that will attract a lot of enemies as well, you know. So we understand that yes, you get a lot of enemies. Some people just hate the fact that, you know, he invests money and he gets some returns, and he talk about them. Well, na lifestyle that na way that life will portray itself, but he don't contribute for this struggle. Yes, like what I try to talk about, he don't contribute for this struggle, for highlight the struggle for the time they want that visibility, one put the name for Southern Cameroon Bazooka outside. It will be very, very instrumental. And people the way they deny that one anyway. I know a lot of people deny that one because generally our people they be self-righteous, they be inward looking most of the time. I tell you that from my own experience and my own understanding where I see how people interact with things. Some they travel talking how lockdown be enforced by the consortium. They just go peacefully, go negotiate with them, make a lockdown. Lies. Lockdown not be enforced by the consortium. Lockdown be enforced by the boys, where the boys is or whatever I call it, the boys. They force lockdown and they use force. They see that same method the way Eric be talk like that Gary, so they use that. People they stop lying. People they stop lying. Okay? Live for the Charles Apoye.
Dr. Charles, thank you very much. Thank you very much, senior comrade. Yes, I don't try to wrap my head around what way you try to explain here. I never still understand the way you try to explain for here. You understand, Dr. Charles? Maybe not me, I just be dumb. You see? Maybe not just this my weekend way. I over excess myself in a lot of things over the weekend. Maybe it don't spoil my reasoning and my common sense at this time. Doc, you will never separate Eric Tataw from Ambazonian struggle. You tell say Eric Tataw don't separate himself from Ambazonian struggle. You didn't talk anything about Ambazonian struggle. Yeah, some man don't talk say Eric Tataw, they talk anything about Ambazonian struggle. Or you check say if Eric Tataw come for inside Ambazonia come big money, wait if a hard place, you check also people they know they will contribute for you. People they will contribute for you. So I know you understand which way you try to explain them for you for yeah. Now so I don't confuse. Yes. Everything where Eric Tataw talk, he get Genesis and he get Apocalypse. That was something where you talk say you find the Genesis, you know, see the Apocalypse. No. Everything where Eric Tataw talk you get it well documented. You get it well documented. If you never talk on this, some person when I eat make ghost town, now you enforce ghost town. No,